Hello guys, and welcome to my weekly Linux news, 21st January 2018. So let's start with the first one, and it's a big one. Wine 3.0 released. This is major news, as Wine is widely used by the Linux community. Especially by those who have become Linux gamers and actually use Wine to play games under Linux. So there have been over 6,000 individual changes, and if you want to see them all in detail, you can always see the release notes. But the main ones, the main new features, were Direct 3D 10 and 11 support. Whoa, this is massive, because this means that a lot of recent games will now be supported under Wine. Obviously, not everything has been implemented, but I've read some reports that many recent games are now playable. There's also the Direct 3D command stream, the Android graphics driver, and improved Direct Write and Direct 2D support. And moving on to the next one, Google ditches Ubuntu for Debian for internal engineering environment. The company, which has been using Ubuntu, a customized version of Ubuntu, for years, announced last year that it would be switching to G-Linux, based on Debian testing. Muy Linux reports that the DebConf 17 held last August revealed plans for the move as well as roadmap for the project and plans for a smooth transition. Well, what can I say here? This means that Canonical will no longer provide support for Google, and therefore we'll have one less source of income, meaning this isn't good news for them. As for Google, well, they have the manpower and the knowledge to customize Debian into pretty much what they need. So they'll be saving costs because they won't be paying Canonical, and therefore this is a wise decision for Google and will help them on the long term. And off into the next one, Virtualbox guest driver being added to Mainline kernel as of version 4.16. This is really interesting, especially for users like me who use Virtualbox extensively to test new distros. Virtualbox guest drivers are kernel drivers and other tools that you need to add to guest operating systems running inside Virtualbox in order to take full advantage of graphics, so that you can have the best resolutions and really test a distro as it should look. So let's open the Git log here, and as you can see here, add VBox guest driver for Virtualbox guest integration, add VBox guest vmmdev communication code. Add VBox guest driver for Virtualbox guest integration UAPI. And staging VBox video. Add VBox video to driver staging. So what happened previously was that every time you installed a guest operating system on Virtualbox, any distro, you would have to manually install a package with the Virtualbox guest drivers, which was quite tedious because you would have to do it all the time. So what this now means is that the kernel itself will support it by default, because it's built in, so you won't have to do anything. It just works out of the box. You just install a guest Linux distro inside Virtualbox, and full resolution will be automatically available for you. So this is very, very interesting and will help all of us who use Virtualbox. And now into some Firefox news, or rather a symbolic milestone. Firefox 59 and later removes GTK2 support. Well, this is not exactly news because Firefox has been using GTK3 for a long time now, and it has matured enough for the team to decide to remove GTK2 support. And so if you go here, you'll see that they are removing every evidence of GTK2 support from the code, but otherwise nothing will change because Firefox has been using GTK3 for a long time anyway. Moving on to the next on the list, an update on ongoing Meltdown and Spectre work from Fedora. I'll gloss over this paragraph as they only talk about Meltdown, which has already been fixed by Fedora and pretty much any major distro. So let's focus on Spectre and what they say here. So Spectre takes advantage of speculation done by CPUs. Part of the fix for Spectre is disallowing the CPU to speculate in particular vulnerable sequences. One solution developed by Google and others is to introduce red lines, which do not allow speculation. A sequence of code that might allow dangerous speculation is replaced with a red line, which will not speculate. The difficult part of this solution is that the compiler needs to be aware of where to place the red line. This means a complete solution involves the compiler as well. The first part of the work necessary for red line is now done. This should be completely merged in the next few days and available in Fedora's stable releases shortly. So this solution they're talking about for Spectre, called red lines, has been developed by Google, and according to what I've read, is the best solution and the one which will take less performance out of your machine. So it's quite interesting that Fedora and possibly other distros are thinking about this one. And surprise, surprise, yet more news about Meltdown and Spectre. Meltdown and Spectre Linux kernel status. Well, this is actually an update from Greg Crower Hartman, who's the maintainer for the stable branch of the Linux kernel, on his blog. The most important bit of information here is this one. Is my machine vulnerable? For this question, it's now a very simple answer. You can check it yourself. Just run the following command at the terminal window to determine what the state of your machine is. So grep //devices/system/cpu/vulnerabilities/ and then he shows the output on his laptop. I've tried this one on several of my machines which use kernel 4.13, and this sysfile system entry vulnerabilities isn't available yet. So I suppose this was introduced on the stable branch, which is version 4.14 of the kernel. So this won't work unless you have kernel 4.14 or later. Alternatively, there's a script from userspeed47 on GitHub which you can clone to check whether your machine is vulnerable or not. I'll leave the link on the description of the video. And to wrap it up, some news for the KDE fans. Plasma 5.12 LTS beta released. We have been working hard focusing on speed and stability for this release. Boot time to desktop has been improved by reviewing the code for anything which blocks execution. And crucially, for the first time, we offer our Wayland integration on long term, so you can be sure we will continue to fix bugs over the coming releases. That's it, guys. Use Linux long and prosper.